YouTube, and welcome to Theater Talk. For today's video, I was inspired by Carrie Hope Fletcher and Oliver Ormston in one of their most recent videos that they posted talking about their theater bucket list. So I thought, why not talk about my own theater bucket list here on my channel? It's also been a while since I've done a Theater Talk video, so yeah. If you're new here, hello, my name is Tori Cyclic. I make new videos every Sunday for Cyclic Sunday with other videos throughout the week. If you like what you see, like this video down below and subscribe while you're down there as well. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok in the description at tss6295. Now, let's get into the video. So yeah, I was watching Carrie and Oliver's Good Morning / Good Evening series that they're doing on both of their channels. And I think it was on Carrie's channel where they did a theater bucket list, and I was like, you know what? I want to think about theater again because that's something that I've kind of been not thinking a ton about throughout quarantine because of the full unknowns about where the theater world is at currently and where like any kind of jobs are going to be. But this is a nice way to kind of get back into that and to get excited again about theater. I did some self-tapes at the beginning of quarantine, but things have kind of been like really dead since then. So it's nice to kind of go back into that and think a little bit more about theater and dreams for that kind of thing. I've got a list here on my phone of my theater bucket list, so let's get into it. I'm going to start with the big one, which is Broadway. Broadway has always been a big dream of mine, and I feel like it's the ultimate goal for a lot of performers in the musical theater world to get to Broadway and to be performing on Broadway. As I've been living in New York City for almost 3 years now and auditioning for almost 3 years now, and I've gotten to go to Broadway auditions and see what that kind of world is like, I am seeing that it is an attainable goal. It just is going to take a very long time, so I'm always going to have that on my theater bucket list because it's the big thing. It's the big thing to perform on Broadway, and it's something that I desperately want to do in my career. Next one on my list is to do a national tour. So national tours aren't something that I really thought about a lot growing up as a kid as something I wanted to do in my theater career. But when I graduated from college, I did my summer stock at Peterborough Players, which if you've been watching my videos for a while, that is a whole playlist of its own from 2017. I was talking to some of the professionals that were there, and a bunch of them had done some national tours. So it was really interesting to talk to them a little bit about that as something I'd never really known much about. And then when I moved to New York, learning more about it, auditioning for national tours, seeing people I know and good friends of mine go on national tours. So it's something I think is such an exciting experience because you get to travel around the country and perform in a show and see new sights and go to a lot of different states, a lot of different places. Some of them even go to international places. So I think it's a really cool and exciting experience to have. And throughout the past few audition seasons, I have gotten to the final rounds of callbacks for some national tours. So that is a very exciting thing to see that that goal of mine that is on my theater bucket list is very attainable at the current moment. Next on my theater bucket list is to work in the West End. I talked a little bit about this in my study abroad vlogs from 2015, which is crazy to think that was 5 years ago that I went to London. That going to London on a study abroad trip was a goal of mine from when I was a little kid. And then when I actually got to do it and see shows in the West End, I was even more inspired and driven to have that be a goal of mine. It's kind of in the same vein as Broadway that like if I got to work in the West End, I would be so thrilled about it because it's the be-all end-all for performing. It's a big deal to be performing on the West End, so that is definitely a goal that I want to achieve. Next on my list is to originate or create a role. In college, I did a little bit of devising work, so I kind of got a taste for what it's like to create a role, but I would love to create a role in a musical in particular. I think it would be so much fun to be a part of the creative process of a show from the ground up, especially with creating my own character and figuring out the world that they live in, how they move, how they talk, how they sing, how they act, what their face is like when they're on stage, what they wear. I just think it'd be so cool to be a part of the process from that kind of standpoint and be somebody who creates a character that gets played by other people and becomes part of the show in a different way. I think it would be so cool to originate a role. Kind of in the same vein of that, my next one on my bucket list is to be in the original cast of a Broadway show. And along with this, I would love to be part of an out-of-town tryout of a show that goes to Broadway after the fact. I think it's so cool to be a part of the creative process of a show from the ground up, and that includes creating a role and being a part of the original Broadway cast. I think that would just be so cool. And my next one is still kind of in the same vein of that, is to be on a cast recording. I don't care what way it is, if I'm in the ensemble, if I have a solo, if I'm a lead role, if I'm just doing a little bit on this cast recording. I think it'd be so cool to pull up Spotify and click on a cast recording for a show and be like, oh hey, you can kind of hear me in there because I'm on that cast recording. Next up on my bucket list is to perform on the Tonys. So the Tonys, as we all know, as theater people, are a huge deal. So I would love the opportunity to get to perform on the Tonys, and that could be in any kind of aspect of it, in the opening number, as part of a show. I think it would be so much fun to be on the Tonys and performing at Radio City on that stage. In a similar vein to the Tonys, I would love to be nominated for a Tony Award. If I'm ever in a Broadway show and I get recognized for my work by getting nominated for a Tony, that would be incredible. Nothing else needs to be said about that. And in that same kind of vein of being nominated for a Tony, winning a Tony would be pretty cool as well. So like, yeah, just recognition for my work as a performer by winning a Tony Award, which is one of the biggest theatrical awards you can win. That'd be pretty awesome. Next up on my theater bucket list is to play a leading role in a show. So I've never played a leading role in a show. I've either been ensemble, featured dancer, having a couple lines in a show, or like a bit character like I was a silly girl in Beauty and the Beast, or had some lines in plays in high school, and in college I was Victoria in Cats, which is like a named character, but doesn't have any lines and just dances a lot and is a featured dancer. So I would love to play a lead role in a show because something I've never done before. It would definitely be a challenge to learn all the lines, do all the solos, the harmonies, everything like that. Vocally, it would be much more of a challenge for me because I'm a dancer, so I do a lot more of that kind of thing in a show. But to be a lead role in a show that has a lot of singing and acting and dancing all together, that would be pretty cool as well. And it would be a great way to grow as a performer because it's something I don't do. Normally when I'm casting a show, I'm usually casting the ensemble as a dancer, so it'd be really good to grow in that way and to grow into leading roles, supporting roles, just to be talking more on stage, that kind of thing. Next on my theater bucket list, I would love to swing a show. So swinging a show means that you are pretty much an understudy for the entire ensemble, and it's something I did a little bit of in college. I was technically the swing when we did our production of Hello Dolly. I was the dance captain and the ensemble and the swing for the entire cast, which was a lot of work, but I would love to swing a professional show because there's so much more of a method to the madness of how all of that works with like labeling your book and organizing what you need to do to be prepared to go on for anybody's track. And I would love to work that part of my brain. I feel like as a dancer, my brain kind of automatically goes into like a swing dance captain kind of brain because I'm always thinking about how you do the combination on the other side, thinking about the counts and specifics of things. I'm trying to pay more attention to the specific details a lot of dancing when I'm doing a show or in class or anything like that. So I feel like it just kind of makes sense for me as a performer to definitely work towards becoming a swing and doing that kind of thing in my career. And along with that, I would also love to dance captain a professional production as well. Like I said, I was the dance captain for Hello Dolly and Bring It On when I did those in college, and I was the assistant choreographer slash pretty much the dance captain when we did American Idiot as well. So it was really cool to get to see the performance from the other side of the table and be focusing more on the choreography and how to make that look clean and pretty much perfect on stage, as perfect as it could be. So I really loved taking my brain, my dancer brain, into that kind of state as well. And I really loved getting my hands dirty in that. I really love that part of being in a show because it's really cool to get to be on the other side of the table with being a dancer, but also be kind of in charge of how everything looks on stage dance-wise. It's a very cool thing to do, and I would love to get to do it professionally. Next up on my theater bucket list, I would love to direct a professional production. When I was a senior in high school, part of our end of senior year project culmination was directing a one-act, and I decided to direct a one-act that I wrote, and I really loved getting to be on that side of the creative part of the table because I got to pretty much make decisions about how the entire one-act looked. And I really loved discussing with my actors the intentions, the directions I wanted them to go with their characters. I really loved that kind of side of production, and it was really cool to get to experience it a little bit. And I did some directing in like a directing class in college, but haven't done anything since then, and I would love to get more into that and learn more about that as a professional. And the final thing on my theater bucket list is to work with some specific choreographers, specifically Josh Bergasse, Bayork Lee, and Casey Nicola. The reason for these three in particular is because all three of them are incredible choreographers. Josh Bergasse choreographed the TV show Smash, as well as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and a couple other ones that I can't really think of at the current moment, but his choreography is absolutely incredible, and I've taken class from him a couple times. It is so hard. His choreography is so hard and it makes you think so much, but when you get the choreography, you just feel like you're floating and dancing like how you should be dancing, and I just want to work with him on a show. I just think it would be so much fun to really dive into choreography with him. I love to work with Bayork Lee because she's the resident choreographer for a chorus line, so I've auditioned for her a couple times for the national tour of a chorus line, as well as for some regional productions that she was choreographing, and I just love her as a person. Her energy that she brings into the room is so fun and exciting, and it makes you want to learn the choreography. In addition, she's also teaching you the choreography to a chorus line so you can teach to people afterwards. So I feel like even though I've never been in a production of a chorus line, I could successfully teach the choreography because of what I've learned from her just in an audition setting. And I would love to work with her more specifically on the choreography, on the whole show in general of a chorus line. And then Casey Nicola is an incredible choreographer. He choreographed Mean Girls, Book of Mormon, Drowsy Chaperone, Spam-A-Lot, like so many shows that just have such amazing choreography. and I just love it so much. It's kind of in a similar vein to Josh Burgess, that when you're dancing his choreography, Casey Nicholaw stuff just feels so good to dance. I even did a full Casey Nicholaw themed day on my TikTok, and I did choreography from Mean Girls that I learned in an audition for Mean Girls, and going back to it and actually learning it again, I just felt so good dancing it, and I was like, this is what I want to feel like when I'm dancing all the time. And I feel like getting to work with him on a show would be incredible because he has such an exciting brain choreographically and directorially, so I think it'd be so cool to see his vision come to life in a rehearsal room. So that's all I've got for my theater bucket list. If you're in the world of theater and you have a theater bucket list, let me know what that is in the comments down below. And if there's anything else you want to see here on my channel, let me know about that in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching DFTBA, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!